power, which should be developing solutions if it really served the people. And the first question that's going to come from the street is, why not? Why haven't you provided a solution? Why are you sitting on your hands? You criticized government. Now you're no better than they were. You see, there's all these questions, which are obvious questions to ask, and they have to answer to. So there's tremendous power, really, in understanding. The other thing about understanding is you cannot avoid it yourselves. This, and I'm not speaking to you of this group particularly. I'm speaking about those who you need to spread the word amongst. In that some people are mentally lazy, they're committed to one thing that they've just identified with some hollow slogan, and they think, well, we need to do that then, and in fact, once you explain to them, maybe 4 or 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times, whatever, however many times, you explain to them that what they want won't work. Finally, they might get it, But the thing is, we have to develop that degree of common knowledge amongst ourselves, because what we're really about, this is not just Iceland, but every country in the world, and Iceland absolutely included, is that each of us are desiring to develop truly representative governments. We say that we have this, but we do not, obviously, or there would be no purported banking system. So we actually share a common goal, and myself personally, when I run into a person who's adverse to learning this, I just skip them, go on beyond them, and find the most people that you can, and teach this to each other so we all know it. And before you know it, Iceland will be united. It's amazing, the radio programs that I'm doing. They're broadcast by the primary station to 17 or 18 countries and 100,000 people, something like that. But 22 other stations, I don't even know the other stations, broadcast them as well. But, a few days or a couple of weeks later, you see new terms that I'm introducing being discussed in all different places, Facebook, YouTube, whatever, And so what I'm saying is, you might think you're just talking amongst yourselves, but keep it visible on Facebook. I know you have quite a presence on Facebook, but keep it visible, and even multilingual if you can. It's impossible because I'm not multilingual like you people are. It's impossible for me to follow these Icelandic posts. In fact, it's amazing. I try and post them into translators, and people are sending me messages, and the translators that are online just don't work. They produce nothing. Yeah. So it's funny.
We know that.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, we can easily recognize Google translators translated text, and they sound very weird.
Oh yeah, and it's totally futile. But in case anybody's sent me something in Icelandic and I haven't responded, I've done my darndest. But as you say, it's futile. So anyway, keep it public and keep it constant, and what happens, I'm sure you're quite aware of this, is you always find these detractors, and the unfortunate thing about the internet is that someone who really hasn't given any quality time to these issues will nonetheless speak up as if they knew what they were talking about and denounce the whole thing. And it's very important, although they are very few in truth, and although in truth likewise they haven't provided the quality time to stand up and advocate whatever they do, it's very important to master the arguments, and this is something that Jack's been doing for, a year now, is he masters these arguments by in fact doing battle with these people online. So it's good to.
That will be a good step for us, maybe even the next step to, master our skills in arguments.
Absolutely, because
because we can easily confront all kinds of specialists and politicians in this small country. It's relatively easy to have access, and also to the media, and also we are planning to go to the schools. And
absolutely, excuse me, I just grabbed a gulp of beer here. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Because
I tell you also, the political limitations of our, mayor, he is kind of radical, and he would probably, we would probably be a political match. I guess we are. Of course, his main obstacle is his coalition partner, Social Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
So he is a coalition with the Social Democrats in the city, and that same Social Democratic Party is also in the national government with the Left Greens, and their solution to all our problems is to join the EU, and also they have the.
Okay. You've argued your point exhaustively enough already. I take it on faith, though, that you're absolutely correct in working around him rather than with him. And this is the same thing that's going on here. There's no point in... People constantly ask me to write Ron Paul, Dennis Kucinich, Barack Obama, whoever, And the truth of the matter is, every time you do that, it's a waste of time. The only time that I do this, and this is a long-term pattern, I do it once in a very official way, and you want to send a communication. In the United States we have certified delivery, return receipt requested. If you care to do this, just to prove that he's on the wrong side, and that these other people, the Social Democrats, are on the wrong side, send communication to the mayor of Reykjavik and the leader of the Social Democrat Party or whatever.
Actually, would you like to write a letter? We could easily.
I'd certainly work together with you on it. You'd have to provide me the background of who I'm addressing, and we would draft a letter out, and the whole thing is, it's really a matter of politically embarrassing them, is what we're really doing. We're laying a trail of facts that they've been presented with the fact that their proposition can only fail the country. And that they sat on their hands, they did nothing about it, they were evasive, they had no disproof of this fact that there is one and one only solution for inflation and deflation, for systemic manipulation of the cost or value of money or property, and inherent irreversible multiplication of artificial indebtedness by interest, which is not a problem that's unique to Iceland, which caused Iceland's bank to collapse. It's a problem which is spread across the world by the very people who are advocating these things, such as joining the European Union, primarily to subject the people to the very kind of currency which can only cause their collapse. So, what you're doing, it's not because, we hate these people and we want to bring them down. It's because they're in the way of solution and people are suffering, and we have to lay a trail of facts that they've been presented this and did nothing, had no disproof of our proposition themselves, and we would invite them to disprove this. We would invite them to do it even more so in a public forum, live on television, live on radio, that I will interview them on our radio show, and we will allow the world to judge their opinions and reasons live, but from their own tongue, you see. And so we're going to be as gentlemanly and accommodating as possible, except for we have to make it clear that we're drawing the line. You're not going to do this unless you can prove you're right. So here's your opportunity to prove you're right. We're not allowing you to just be silent and to yourselves perpetrate our failure at your hand. We're holding you accountable. Come out with your reasons. Expose them to us. Argue them irrefutably before the people if you're so convicted to this path. Prove to us that you're right, that you serve us, because we mean to find out one way or the other. Do you serve us or do you serve us not?
Actually, tomorrow I plan to go to the bank and to deal with them, because my girlfriend has a loan with this bank and she stopped paying and we're not going to pay, but they're encouraging her to come to the bank and negotiate. And so I was willing to go there and give them a talk, and maybe you have some advice for me.
I would advise you this. I'm quite impressed with you myself, and my first thought, as you mentioned this, was concern for your safety. But the reason is not that I don't have faith that you could argue your position effectively. My concern is that you can get all of Iceland behind you because you're correct. And the first thing to do is to get Iceland behind you. After all, you're not making any payments to the bank because you can't. So you're not going to change anything to the better by going by yourself at this time. However, if let's just say you spent 3 months emailing people, virally promoting this fact of singular solution, so that all of Iceland could understand that, in effect, and it doesn't matter what country I talk to. I've already talked to several different countries today. It doesn't matter what country I speak to, the people are in the same situation, and all they have to understand is that you might be paying $1,000 a month toward a $100,000 home with a 100-year lifespan. Under mathematically perfected economy, we would immediately reduce your payments to a maximum of 1/12 as much. Many people's debts would go away. Now, understanding that, you're not going to find many people amongst you who would object to this, and everyone who might put up any kind of opposition or obstruction at all don't even know what they're thinking. You see, they're wrong. They're wrong as wrong can be. But you will find many, many allies. And the thing is, to get this information out so that it festers among the people, and they become rightly enraged as they should be because of the impropriety of these crimes against us. Then you go to this bank with friends, with camcorders in the very least, if not a local television station, if not radio stations as well. All these people with microphones recording this. And you go to the bank then and say, well, I'm here, as you requested, to negotiate payment of this debt. And I have a brilliant idea which pays it off, which can pay you off, even immediately. And this bank manager is going to be confounded. They're not going to have the slightest idea what you could possibly be about to propose, because they know full well that Iceland is in no position whatsoever to pay off this debt, and what they're really wanting is to collect interest on it forever. And you pull a piece of paper out of your pocket and write on it in Icelandic, "Will pay to the bearer on demand, infinity," and you sign it, Thorarin Einarsson, and submit it to the bank manager and say, there you are. Would you have any objection to accepting this as full payment for the debts? And the bank manager says, no, of course I couldn't do that. This is just a piece of paper. I said, then you would say, well, how did you issue the pieces of paper that you say we owe you?